That's okay though. For being so young, you're very, very smart. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So keep up the good work, man, and stay flat, okay?
Okay, I'm a flat earther. I'm a flat earther, flat earther, flat earther, flat earther, flat earther, flat earther. I'm a flat earther, flat earther, flat earther, flat earther, flat earther, flat earther. I'm a flat earther, flat earther, flat earther, flat earther, flat earther, flat earther. I'm a flat earther, flat earther, flat earther, flat earther, flat earther. I was like, what is this about? What?
That's okay though. For being so young, you're very, very smart. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So keep up the good work, man, and stay flat, okay?
Okay, I'm a flat earther.
For sound bites. This is awesome.
High rising, y'all. Yom Tov, and welcome to Anti-Religious Scripture Study with me, Karen B, and Just Jack, who you can maybe see... Oh, I see. You can be seen ever so tiny up in the upper right corner on the screen that you're there.
And I can, do a scary flash my face in a little bit here too. So
Let's see. I wonder if I can...
Karen B's eSword is not working right today with the notes. So we're going to be sharing my screen with the eSword notes. And so she has to set up her OBS a little bit different. And yes, I see little itty bitty,
Yeah. Anyway, there we go. Maybe I'll turn off I'm up there in the corner too, so I'll just turn off my camera as well. And then it'll just be all Skype. There we go. Anyway, this is what's important to see anyway, is the words on the screen. So, sorry it's a little different today, folks, but anyway.
Hey, Brian. Excuse me. I'm going to mute for a second to clear my throat.
Alrighty.
Sorry. Hi, Brian. Hi, Jennifer. Hi, other Brian. Juan Torres. Brian Parker. Awesome Austin. I always have trouble saying that. And Andy D. How you doing? All right.
Yes, and in Rockfin I see Annie D, Rob Cleveland, and on Facebook I see Carolyn. Hi, Carolyn.
And hi, Valley Parks.
And Valley Parks.
Hi, Carolyn.
Yeah, she commented on my Facebook stream. Your wife.
Oh. Carolyn, are you commenting on her Facebook?
Yeah, is she not supposed to be?
Yeah, get off Facebook. What's the matter with you? All right, so I'll read my disclaimer. If I can figure out where I put it on the screen. Okay. Just Jack's disclaimer. To the religious, if you believe it's wrong to study the scripture outside of your religion or denomination, if you believe your religious leaders or church fathers are incapable of having inherited anti-scriptural traditions of men, if you've already made up your mind about scripture, including the scripture shouldn't be studied at all, then this stream is not for you. To others, if you are open-minded to others' opinions, if you haven't made up your mind about scripture, if you have been turned off to religion, but believe there's truth in scripture that may have been changed or hidden by religion, if you live according to scripture and like to dig in and discover more, then this stream is for you. We are looking at scripture in the original language using concordances or dictionaries for root words, as well as context from a non-religion perspective. We will as well have life experience discussion. We are not here to argue with others about theology or doctrine by the traditions of men, including Catholicism, Christianity, or Judaism. We will be discussing the importance of origins and show how religions contradict the scriptures. All right, there you go. All right, so since I've given my disclaimer, now I'm going to voice my opinion about a certain subject. The last stream that you did with Mark Sargent read a verse from the Revelations, and he said, "Are you ready to go to church, Karen?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, cringy for me." So the word church actually comes from the Greek word kirke, which means circus. Okay, it's to get the masses into one area to give them a show, you know.
Jack,
To national or yes.
you're cutting.
Did I lag there?
You were cutting out for just a sec. You said to show people a show, and then you cut out.
Yeah, so I'm giving you a show now. No, yeah, they give people a show. Typically, whether they're traditional or a new modern church, music is a big part of that to get you emotionally tuned in, so that they can give you whatever perspective they want on their reading of the scripture. Church in the actual word that was translated into church in the New Testament is called kirke, which is the called out ones, or the called out assembly, which is the ecclesia. Okay, so ecclesia is the gathered assembly, And this is not a new concept even in the Hebrew, where we're supposed to be called to an assembly to get together to talk about how they're connecting with the Creator. It has nothing to do with one dude standing on a podium several degrees above you with a false altar and a cut down tree that you're bowing down to. Okay, so church has nothing to do with what we are doing by reading scripture. I just wanted to clarify that.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so I did put my eSword window on the screen, kind of over for everyone to see, and they can still see your study notes at the bottom. At the bottom there, that's where that's your translation, right?
Yeah, and I'll blow that up a little bit.
Yeah,
and I'll blow
great.
this up a little bit.
And then I have my eSword covering your where you see HSBR, because I read from scriptures, not HSBR.
Right. I'll change it back to scriptures here in a moment so you can read it. Just giving out more shout outs. Jennifer Voynich, Capalicious, Jason Starr, Valley Parks. So Singeman, if I missed anybody, sorry. Shabbat Shalom to y'all. And some people are surprised that it's Shabbat already. Y'all need to make it a point to prepare for this day, man. If you actually do that, you'll see how important this day is. When you actually set apart this time that you just connect with the Creator and family and not worry about anything else in the world. I don't worry about work. I don't worry about shopping. Don't worry about cleaning. Nothing. It's such an amazing thing to have the Sabbath. Anyway, so I'll change this back to the scriptures version. And is it legible for you to read now?
Yes.
All right. Let me see if I can reorient this so that you can read all of the dictionary at once. All right. How's that look?
Let me turn this off. Okay.
Is everything legible now?
Yeah, that's much better.
All right.
Okay.
If you want to do a recap, basically what happened was the Creator called Moshe to do what he's going to do. He revealed his name to Moshe, which is Yehovah, or if you're in a different dialect, Yahuwah, which means the existence. That which did exist, does exist, will exist. It's not a new name. He didn't just come up with it on the spot. It's all throughout Genesis. Karen and I have pointed it out many times if you go back to the old videos. And then he had Moshe put his hand into his robe, into his bosom, right, into his lap and stomach area,
right,
and pull out his hand, and it became white. And then he put it back, and it became renewed. And then he threw a staff on the ground, and it became a whisperer, aka serpent, and pulled it back up, and it was a staff again. And he said, when you go to the elders who are in slavery, to know that, I am the deity who is speaking to you, the only existent deity, then you perform these signs to reaffirm that you've interacted with me. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right.
All right. Making bricks without straw. What a funny title.
Yeah, and you're gonna see that I make a lot of comparisons to this. We talked about it before the show. When Yosef was gathering the grain and there was no grain anywhere else, people started selling their other produce. Then they started selling their flocks and their animals, and then they started selling their lands and then themselves as slavery. And the Pharaoh came up with this great idea where they could be free slaves, right?
Mm-hmm.
They could work for themselves, but a large portion of it always goes to the ruling authority. And they felt that they were free because he would build cities for them where they would spend their income. So whatever increase they had, they spent it, and it all went back to Pharaoh anyway. Sounds like a situation that we may have to deal with at this time. So when we get through this, we can extract from this, what's going on in our time and our scenario.
All right. Okay, here we go. And afterwards Moshe and Aaron went in and said to Pharaoh, Thus said Yehovah, Elohim of Israel, let my people go, so that they celebrate a festival to me in the wilderness.
Okay, so many people who have not even been church before have heard this snippet of Moshe saying, let my people go, right?
Right.
And this festival, to me, is the word chag. So if you remember anything from another, I think was a good teacher on certain subjects who has passed, Rob Skiba, miss him. But, you know, when it talks about the circle of the earth, this root word is chug. So it's the encircling and the encompassing. It also means to party, because you have a little something to drink and you get a little bit of a dizziness going on, and you dance around. You know, it's all about circles and encompassing and stuff like that. And even when there's an aleph on the end, chugah is terror, which is a spinning around in fear. So sometimes when you get really scared about something, you feel like you're dizzy, like, oh, whoa, what's happening? You know? So those are all rooted in the same word of, you know, to encircle, to have party. And so it's not just a festival, you know. Festival is much better than King James. I think King James has feast, which is just eating food. That's all we think when we hear feast. So.
Right.
All right, 5-2.
All right. And Pharaoh said, Who is Yehovah that I should obey his voice to let Israel go? I do not know Yehovah, nor am I going to let Israel go.
Right. So Pharaoh, who has many deities, would not say who is the Lord or who is God, because he knew the term Lord or God from the other deities, right? He would have just said which one, rather than, you know, I don't know this Yehovah.
And they said, The Elohim of the Hebrews has met with us. Please let us go 3 days' journey into the wilderness and slaughter to Yehovah our Elohim, lest he fall upon us with pestilence or with the sword.
Okay, so Elohim of the Hebrews are the ones who have crossed over, and wilderness is another word that I wanted us to look at. So wilderness is right here, and wilderness actually comes from the same root as word, in that it's an order. So a word is, you know, an order of sounds, right? And then when you go out into the wilderness where man hasn't screwed it up, it's ordered. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, without men messing it up, going out into the wilderness is ordered. And I've heard of a lot of people who go out into the wilderness and have a connection to the Creator more than anywhere else, because they get away from technology, they get away from the city, they get away from everything else, you know?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I just wanted to verify that I do back up going into the wilderness or going into nature to experience the Creator better.
Yeah. But the sovereign of Mitzrayim said to them, Moshe and Aaron, why do you take the people from their work? Get back to your burdens.
Yeah, and that's Aharon. But, yeah, back to your burdens. No, this is not the one. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
And Pharaoh said, See, the people of the land are many now, and you make them cease from their burdens. Right,
so they've Rav. Okay, so Rav is where we get the word rabbi, Ravi, okay? It means to increase in quantity or authority. So they've greatly increased. And by the way, whenever they tell you that rabbi means teacher, it's a lie. It's you submitting yourself to them and saying, you're the great one, which you should absolutely not do. Okay, so.
Okay. And the same day Pharaoh commanded the slave drivers of the people and their foremen, saying...
All right, so this is the one I wanted to look at. So the drivers is good, but the foreman is the rulers, the domainers. Okay, so they have dominion over the people. It's not just the guys who are in charge of the construction. These are the guys in charge of the people.
So it's more than what someone would typically think of when you hear foreman.
Right, it's like slave driver, right?
Okay.
Actually, slave drivers would have just been the drivers of the people, and they're the masters of the slave drivers, okay? So
You are no longer to give the people straw to make bricks as before. Let them go and gather straw for themselves.
Okay, so this is where the title, where did you see that title anyway?
That was at the very top for
Of
me.
mine?
No, in mine it's at the very top.
Oh, because you're looking at it without the notes. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, typically brick was made from straw, and then if you go into those areas today, you can see the huge bricks like starting to deteriorate away, and you can actually see straw sticking out of it, right? So it's verified that this is how it was done.
Okay. And lay on them the acquired amount of bricks which they made before. Do not diminish it, for they are idle. That is why they cry out, saying, Let us go and slaughter to our Elohim.
All right, so what is the reason that they're asking to go out? They're idle.
Yeah.
They must not have enough to do.
Yeah.
Let's give them more stuff. That way they can't think about connecting to the Creator.
Right.
And I say that this is like very familiar to like what we go through here.
Absolutely.
They give us so much stuff to distract us from what we should really be doing, which is reconnecting with nature and with the Creator.
Yeah. Let more work be laid on the men so that they labor in it and not pay attention to words of falsehood. And the slave drivers of the people and their foremen went out and spoke to the people, saying, Thus said Pharaoh, I do not give you straw.
Yeah, and that word give is gift, natan.
Okay. Go take straw for yourselves wherever you find it, for your work shall not be diminished. And the people were scattered in all the land of Mitzrayim to gather stubble for straw.
Okay, so stubble would be when you do harvesting, you put a binding cord around the long stalks, and then you chop them off at the bottom. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So what this is, and typically they would use that to make the bricks. But what's happening now is he's saying, like, those little stubs that are on the ground from being cut off, you got to go dig those up out of the ground so you have some straw. And they have a bigger quota to fill now, but yet they're grasping at straws, right? they're trying to gather the stubble from the ground.
And the slave drivers were hurrying them, saying, Fulfill your actions, your daily matters, as when there was straw.
Yeah, and this word, hurrying them, is to give them pressure, to make it urgent.
Mm-hmm. Also, the foremen of the children of Israel, whom Pharaoh's slave drivers had set over them, were struck and were asked, Why have you not fulfilled your law in making bricks both yesterday and today as before?
Okay, this may not be pertinent to this location, but it's very important to understand these words further along. This is not law. This is a decree of an inscription. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's different than a law, because a law, which is Torah, would be the directional instruction, where this is like it's a statute. It's something that's written down that you can refer back to, that type of a deal.
All right.
Like I said, it's not pertinent to this. Law or statute, what difference does it make? It doesn't make a difference here, but it does make a difference later on.
And the foreman of the children of Israel came and cried out to Pharaoh, saying, Why do you treat your servants this way? There is no straw given to your servants, and they say to us, Make bricks, and see, your servants are struck, but your own people are at fault. But he said, You are idle. You are idle. That is why you say, Let us go and slaughter to Yehovah.
So he's just reiterating why he gave them extra work is because, oh, you must want something to do, so I'll put you to work more.
Yeah. So now go, work, and straw is not given to you, but deliver the amount of bricks. And the foreman of the children of Israel saw that they were in trouble after it was said, you are not to diminish your daily amount of bricks.
Okay, so this is, what did it say, trouble?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's actually the ra, the dysfunction, right? The opposite of tov, which is functional. So this is evil, if you will.
Okay.
It's dysfunctional. Yeah. It was causing them dysfunction, yeah.
Right. And when they came out from Pharaoh, they met Moshe and Aharon and stood there to meet them. And they said to them, let Yehovah look on you and judge, because you have made us loathsome in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of his servants, to give a sword in their hand to kill us.
Okay, so they've given them a laying waste to trample and kill us. Okay. Did Yehovah make this happen? Did Yehovah bind them with extra work?
No, but
Did Yehovah make them a slave?
No.
No. So this is what happens also in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
When bad stuff goes down, people immediately go to, why does God let this happen? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When they themselves, by going along with their rulers, their masters, they've brought those extra burdens upon themselves by listening to the slave masters rather than listening to the Creator, right?
Right.
And this is what people do all the time. They do want to blame the Creator for everything that goes wrong in their life.
I see that. Well, and I see them, saying if there's a God, why does all this bad stuff happen in the world? Oh, if there's a God, why does he let children be victimized? It's like, that's not God doing that. That's bad people. That's bad people doing that shit.
Yeah.
Excuse
like
my
I said,
language.
it's a blessing and a curse to have free will. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to lose my free will if it was a man in charge, but I am willing to let go of my free will if it's the Creator in charge, because he's got the best plan. But that's the problem, is the men who want to take it upon themselves to be deity themselves, to be in charge, to have that quote unquote power over people that are lesser than them. Mm-hmm. They're evil. And it's not that he lets it happen. It's the righteous people are not standing up like they're supposed to. If everything was set up the way that the Creator had made it, then I would think there would be a lot less of that going on.
Yeah.
A lot less. If it was a death sentence, I mean, it would be less likely to be done if there was a death sentence for such things.
Mm. And Moshe returned to Yehovah and said, Yehovah, why have you done evil to this people? Why did you send me?
Now this is the messenger of Yah is saying this to Yehovah. Like I said, Moses is a whiner baby. He complains a lot. Like, why'd you do this to me?
For ever since I came to Pharaoh to speak in your name, he has done evil to this people, and you have not delivered your people at all.
Okay. There we go. So, and again, it's just like you said, when people are like, why doesn't he just deliver all these people? No, he gets to the point where you trust the Creator, and then when you do, then those things, they don't happen anymore. So, alrighty. Kind of short chapter because it's kind of like repetitious in the storyline, right? Mm-hmm. It's all about like gathering the straw and making the bricks, and this is just the first step of where it gets really bad, to where the Creator does step in, and you'll know it as the Exodus story, or the plagues of Egypt, or that people have heard of. This is coming up real soon. So, all right, I'm gonna look in chat here. All right, brick bread. Do. All right. It looks like no one's specifically in this this conversation. So
Yeah, I don't see too much going on in the way of chat in the other places. Questions, comments, concerns. All right. I guess not.
all right, it was a short one, folks.
Yeah, that's cool.
And yes, anyone is able to be corruptible. You have to make a conscious choice to not be selfish. Selfish comes naturally.
Yep.
But to be conscious to do the right thing, it takes effort. All right. I reckon we can just sign off.
All right. Well,
Shabbat
thanks for
shalom,
being
y'all.
here, everyone. Shabbat shalom. Keep it flat. And we'll see y'all next time.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.